testing is kind of like taxes. Nobody loves paying taxes, but there's sort of a minimum amount that's necessary in order to keep society functioning or keep government functioning, whatever that may be. And so, the same with testing. Well, what kind of testing, if we've got to do some of it, should we focus on, and what kind of testing is highest ROI? What I've seen in my experience, okay, so if we cut up a system real quick here, and let's pretend that up here is the UI of the system, whatever that's built on. And then maybe that's calling or speaking with an API slash, logic layer. And then finally, we've got the underlying implementations of that logic down in here, that this stuff calls. And then under there, maybe somewhere further down, we've got a data store. So I'll throw my crappy database diagram down there. So API logic and different types of testing, can be brought to bear against different facets. One that I'm not a huge fan of, don't really recommend, is down at this layer. In the individual kind of units of a system, there's something called unit testing. And the problem I find with unit testing is that most bugs don't actually occur in the individual subunits of a larger program. They actually occur at the integration points, at points where code written by different developers has to work together, and where greater complexity comes to the fore. And so in terms of testing this, I actually recommend testing here. This is API layer testing. The beauty of API layer testing is that it's easy to automate, and it checks everything that's going on in your back end, sort of as a holistic system. And if you identify an issue, then of course the developers have got to go down, drill in, and fix that. But API layer testing is very high ROI, and it's some of the easiest testing to roll out. And it forces your developers to sort of actually look at their APIs and what those APIs are returning contract-wise. And so I have found that you get very, very good bang for your buck there. And then, of course, up here at the UI, then UI layer testing. So this is what we call end-to-end tests. This is full automation of your system by having automated tests pretend that they are users and they're hitting the UI, and it's going all the way through and all the way back. The problem with these is that they tend to be harder to maintain. They break more easily. And so there's the ability to cover a lot of different functions underneath by working on end-to-end tests. The ROI is lower, though, than the API layer testing. And so out of these three, if you could only do one, this is actually what I would pick. And I would start there and then move up to end-to-end. And frankly, I think that if you're forcing your developers to do tons and tons of unit tests, in most business cases, in most industries, you're wasting their time.